listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Hi everyone, Bing is for doing, and here at AFTERBUZZ TV, we're doing another Project Runway, Season 11, Episode 6, Senior Fling recap. I'm Alina, and these are the amazing co-hosts.
Hey guys, I'm Virginia.
Hey, I'm Cougar.
All right, we have a fun episode. We had some very interesting clients/models that these designers got to work with, and I think they were my favorite models ever.
Yeah.
They were
the
hilarious.
Old Lady Challenge.
Senior.
The seniors.
Mature.
The jazzercisers.
Yes. And
Silver sneakers.
Silver sneakers.
Yes.
Silver foxes.
I think this was a really cute episode, and really I just wanted to watch the seniors more than the designers.
I did.
I was
wanted
really
to,
excited for Joan.
For
I knew
Joan.
that was going to be crazy.
Love
Right.
Joan. All right, so we start the show. We hear Daniel, very confident. I mean, not Daniel, Benjamin, very confident. He regained his confidence after last week's challenge, and all that positive feedback.
Which
and then,
was a joke, because he's had one good design out of how many this is the sixth
Right,
challenge,
right.
so out of 5 he had one good one. He's like, oh, I'm all, like he was so cocky to begin with, and it's
Yes.
like, seriously?
I think he was overly confident to begin with, so
Right.
getting
Yeah.
a little bit of praise went to his head.
Right.
And then we have Daniel, on the other hand. He's wanting to redeem himself, and he's kind of down because he started out so well, and he didn't do so well last week.
Yeah. I mean, he literally sucked last week. And he was so on himself, and they talked about that last week. He was just on his own horse or whatever, and then he got shot down.
And then lastly, before we actually start talking about the challenge, Michelle, she's the odd man out, and she keeps talking about how, as long as they don't pair me with Patricia, I'm fine. They could pair me with anybody. She hates Patricia.
She hates
I know,
her.
and
Hates
Patricia
her.
loves her. That's like the sad part. Patricia's like, oh, I love her aesthetic. She's so wonderful, blah, blah, blah.
She's oblivious.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's because to her face, Michelle's like, oh, yay, yay. But
Yeah.
she's catty.
We'll see later in the show, too. The teamwork there is non-existent. They don't communicate. She's ready to talk all the shit in the world about her behind her back, but she won't tell her to her face, so.
Right.
I guess that's why Patricia is in denial. All right, so we get to this timeless challenge, as Heidi calls it. They meet up with Tim Gunn, as you guys mentioned, as the ladies, the models of the night, were doing some jazzercise. And it's at an elderly home, I believe.
It was at the Midtown Loft Dance Hall.
Ah, so it was a dance hall.
Right.
It wasn't an elderly home.
No. It's where they all go to meet, though. So we'll just call it a space for the aged.
It's a social environment for
A
mature
social
women
interaction,
who
yeah.
like to boogie.
Right. Exactly. And according to Tim, good fashion is both ageless and timeless.
Yes, that's exactly what he gave, or the advice he gave the designers. And he also said, make sure that you show who you are through your clients. So we always see when we have clients that are outside of the typical model, they really want them to get their aesthetic in there as well as what their customer is requesting. It makes sense, because
Right.
if I were a designer and somebody came to get a custom outfit,
Well, it's always a little bit tricky when they're designing for individual people, because they have to please those people while they're on the runway, as opposed to like last week when they designed for Miranda Lambert. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I could possibly wear that or not, but these are people that have a specific idea of where they want to go, and so it makes it a little bit trickier.
Absolutely. And especially if they're used to designing for models and doing exactly what they want to do.
Right.
Right.
They had 30 minutes to consult and sketch with their client. They had a day for the challenge and 30 minutes at Mood with $200 budget. And before we get started with the workroom, Patricia was paired with Michelle and Liana. Well, I guess Patricia and Liana were already together, and Michelle got paired on Patricia's
Right.
team.
Right. By the button bag.
Yes. And she's pretty good at hiding her emotion because she was just like, oh, right where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Great.
Patricia and Liana, how convenient.
And then Amanda said some sort of snarky comment about old people. I feel like Amanda hates everybody. There was the episode where she
Life.
hated children. There was the episode where she hated
Flowers.
flowers. Now she hates old people.
She said, I've never designed for this type of client. What does that even mean?
Old people.
That means she's just the
A
Grinch.
biatch.
Yeah.
Wear that.
Right.
So we meet these amazing clients as they
Amazing.
do the consultation. Automatically, Benjamin's client Holly stood out to me
Oh yeah.
because she was calling him lover. I don't need a jacket, lover. I'm short, you know. And she was talking about how she doesn't have Michelle Obama arms, so she
Yeah.
wants to make sure her arm. I mean, really
She had a great sense of humor.
great.
Not only did she have a great sense of humor, but they all had great names. I love old people names. Ira, Iris, Sue.
My grandma's name is Sue.
Exactly. Rosalie.
I think I like Cheryl the best though because she
Cheryl.
was the one telling Kate, you need to just slut it up.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
was hilarious.
Be a slut.
Do whatever you want.
Don't
Live it
believe
up.
in the golden years. Be a slut.
I want to know if she's telling her granddaughters the same thing.
I would want to meet her granddaughters then.
Oh. No.
Sue, hook it up. Or Cheryl, excuse me.
Let's see.
Anyway, so they go to
They
Mood.
go off to Mood.
They have $200 per look.
$200 per look. Everybody's running around as usual. And then what I thought was interesting is that 2 changes his look without consulting his client. That's kind of
As
iffy
he's
to me.
walking through Mood.
That's risky.
Yeah, a
Very
little.
risky. And we see that the risk is not worth, it doesn't pay out.
No. And then we get these designers in the workroom, and automatically Amanda is concerned about the fabric choice.
Oh, she's spinning out of control from like the moment they get in that workroom. Like, what did I do?
Well, it's like it happens every time. They go in with a negative attitude. Oh, I can't design for this person, and then it's just like their downfall.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
Totally.
Very much so. I apparently designed a really structured dress and bought flowy fabric. You're a designer.
Yeah, like how did you do that?
How do
Right.
you mess that up?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they don't have a lot of time in Mood, but
But like you should say, structured dress, structured fabric, not like, oh, I got carried away by the flowiness of this
Right.
fabric and I had to buy it.
She was like, what do I do now? Like, how do I marry these two terrible, terrible ideas that I had together?
you do not even go in the flowy fabric section. Just stick to your
Right?
structured fabric.
All right.
Doesn't make sense.
Is there a section that's just for flowy and a section for structured?
Oh, absolutely. That's how they paired the fabric in the fabric
Flowy,
stores.
structured.
It's like silk chiffons over here, and then canvas over here. Yeah, so why would you
She
go
probably
that way?
needed a sign though that said structured.
She probably. And
This is flowy.
Or it could say old people. She needed that.
Age appropriate.
anybody else that stood out to you guys in the workroom?
Oh man, Daniel is getting on everybody's nerves.
He kept asking Samantha, like he has one bad day and then he's like panicked, like, is
Yeah.
this right? Is this okay? Am I
Should I
doing
do
this
this?
right? It's like,
Is that right?
what
And she's
happened?
like,
You're
I
like-
can't answer all your questions, old man.
yeah, I love
Um,
her because she's just like not scared to.
Yeah,
you know.
and she's nice about it, but she's like, dude, what do
Yeah.
you want me to say?
I'm young, but
I know.
I don't have all the answers. And on top of it, like, she still has a dress or outfit to design. And, you know, she can't
Yeah,
be sitting
of her
there
own.
and tutoring Daniel.
Well, and then Benjamin was like, okay, I feel like this challenge, I really need to check in with Amanda. And it's like, what challenge do you not check in with your teammates
Well, yeah.
24/7 and
when are
annoy
you not
them?
micromanaging everybody else's lives?
Exactly. Benjamin is always worried about everybody else on his team because he's so incredibly confident about his design aesthetic.
Yeah, that's
Come
not
on,
working out for
Benjamin.
him.
No.
Nope.
Michelle, Liana, and Patricia
Not working together.
not working together at all. They're not even discussing what they're doing.
Well, actually, it wasn't so much that. It's that Leanna and Michelle were like over here being buddy, and they're like, oh, Patricia, what she's doing over there sucks. We're cool. She sucks.
Yes. And what Patricia was doing was a little odd. The chiffon poncho.
Yeah, I didn't get that
It
at
did,
all.
but like bring her in on it. Give her like help. Don't just be like, well, I mean.
Well, she's
if-
always in the top.
Yeah.
So we'll let her do her own thing.
So that
Yes.
we can go home, or whatever.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see with these two what happens later in the show, and when they get back to the room.
But it's like it's
Uh,
week 6, people. Teams. You're not gonna succeed if
Yeah.
the bottom of your team sucks.
This team concept is not
No, it's
working.
terrible. I hope that somebody's listening in right now. This was not a good season. Actually, we talked about this though when we were watching it. Is it the team thing, or is it just that these designers suck? Like, if they were better designers, would teams be more interesting?
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
I'm not. You
There's no
stole the
favorite.
words. No, I'm not impressed. Nobody has blown me away. Not personality-wise, not design-wise. It's just kind of blah.
Yeah, well, not only that, but everything that they're putting down the runway, it seems like I could go buy it at Kohl's.
Oh man.
Even worse. I mean, the person that won today, the construction was like, come on.
Terrible.
In past seasons, if there was a crotch out there that looked like that, they would have been like, what the heck? Why is your garment on the runway when it looks like this?
Where are Christopher's, our Dimitri's, our even, I have to say it, Ben. Like, he's even better than
Yes.
all of these people with his stupid rosette.
Yeah, because at least he could sew
Yeah.
Right.
and send down a garment that looked well constructed.
Good points.
Back to Michelle, Liana, and Patricia, though. In Patricia's defense, even though I don't agree with them talking shit, it's not getting them anywhere. She is kind of defensive.
Oh,
Patricia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because even when they're trying to tell her, Liana tries to tell her, eventually, when it's too late, she tries to tell her, it kind of looks like a potato sack. She's like, no, I know what I'm doing. It's going to look good. The client will like it.
Right. She does not take criticism at all.
No.
Even from Tim Gunn, that one episode, she was like mortified at Tim's criticism.
Well, even tonight, when he is like, it's a poncho, she's like, no, it's a shawl. He's like, no, it's a poncho.
No, it's a poncho. And it was a poncho.
It was a poncho. Just because it's chiffon doesn't not make it a poncho.
Right.
And I don't know. It was all weird. Richard and Stanley. Tim's concerned with Stanley's time management. And Cougar, you actually mentioned to me, like, he's always pulling everything out in the last
The
minute.
midnight hour. He's always, Tim peeks his head in and says, designers, and Stanley's back there like, there's been like at least 2 or 3 episodes where he's had to be pulled out by Tim. Like, let's go, buddy.
I noticed that this episode because he was literally sewing.
Right. And
scenes
Stanley's
out.
like, snap, he doesn't need to be worried about my time management.
Yeah, I've got this.
I got this.
But he does.
No, you-
He always pulls it out at the end.
He
He
really
does, yeah.
does. So far, so good. Kate and Tim says Kate's outfit doesn't go together. He compared her top, or he called her top wintry and her skirt spring. Like, I could see what he was talking about.
I could
With
see
the
what he was
dark
talking about, but
top.
I also I saw there was a like a color commonality with that navy blue, to tie the 2 pieces together. I thought it was gonna work, whatever she was doing, just as far as like the feeling and the color palette.
What did you think about Liana's comment about
Oh
Kate?
man, every episode.
Yeah.
She is the best for sound bites because the producers choose her sound bites more than anybody else.
She's a hater.
She is a
That
hater.
was a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Kate's style is outdated, so the old lady challenge is perfect for her.
Yeah. Talk
Like,
about a slap to the face.
Yeah.
You know why I think she's
Hater,
bitter?
right?
Because they made that really pretty pink and black dress, and then they chose Kate to win.
Yeah,
Right.
possibly. But Kate did most of the work.
That's true. And then
I
Tim
love
was
Kate.
insinuating that Daniel's look was too off the rack, which we were just talking about, which Virginia mentioned. Everything looks like it's off the rack, and really it did look like that.
It did, but
It
that
did.
is what she asked for. She wanted a black pantsuit. I mean, how do you make that fancy for someone?
But even the construction wasn't great. Like when they zoomed in on the elbows and like.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
side.
The
I
side.
The
thought
way
the side was
where it got
botched.
cinched together was so sloppy.
And they were like, "Oh, that pulls her in," and I was like,
No,
"No,
'cause
it
you
draws
can't see it.
attention to the
Even the collar without the
other collar."
The other collar, yeah, the other side. It wasn't like seen down correctly. Like it wasn't sewed down correctly. It was
I think
weird.
that this was a big problem this episode, which we'll get into later on the runway, was they just had no concept of how to design for a mature woman or for a real client. They did terrible midsection things. Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
I think literally for every single person I wrote, unflattering.
Yeah, I wrote it a bunch of times.
But then you have to think they had one day. Like, can you imagine making a pantsuit with a jacket in one day? Like, that's a lot of work.
Right.
It is.
So
But
you kind of got to slap it together.
yeah, I mean, the fitting should have been impeccable, though.
But they had one fitting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they had one. This actually was maybe kind of Project Runway's fault, because it was a challenge when you're tailoring something for a real client where they've been used to models. Like, why wouldn't you give them 2 days to do this and actually make something that is going to work for these real women?
Yeah, and especially, I hate I'm going to get so much flack for this. Elderly women, it's not even like somebody who's overweight. They have different issues, like, loose skin on their arms, like Holly was
Yeah, they don't have those Michelle Obama arms.
Yeah, or even the midsection, it's different. Like, you really need to cater to them and make sure everything fits perfectly and is put together well. So I didn't get that. Kate and 2. Tim says, talk about what Tim tells Kate, and then he tells 2 that his tailoring is a bit ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize this, but apparently 2 is a terrible sewer.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Michelle threw him under the bus on the show. She mentioned
she was right.
Can't sew. She was right.
She was. I mean, we'll talk about it, but man, that was some hideous sewing issues.
It was. I mean, I thought his dress could have been really nice had it fit and been sewed right.
Right.
Ben and Amanda, frumpy.
Oh man.
Why? I mean, you don't have to make it look like old lady clothes. Like, that's exactly what I felt like. They're like, okay, we're designing for old women. They typically have this silhouette. Here's what we're gonna do with it. Like, why? Why wouldn't you make them look young and hip? They want to look young and hip. They don't want to look old.
Yeah, there was the cheetah girl or leopard woman who had the tattoos. She's like, let's show it off. Let's be hot and sexy and leopard and whatever.
I heard more sexy or something. Like, they all said they wanted to be sexy, and I was like, wow. But then I think about my grandma. My grandma's a little crazy like that too.
Oh,
Your
no,
grandma
you
would be crazy.
We need to see some pictures.
Oh, my grandma is adorable. I love her to death. So, but yeah, she could hang with those ladies for sure.
And I'm sure her outfits are better. Let's see. Bad fabrics as well. Even Ben's fabric. Like, what are you thinking?
Ben, yeah, everybody was picking out. I don't know what they thought.
That was awful.
It's actually like this episode and the last episode. Everybody just picked terrible fabrics that they couldn't really like work with.
That will make or break you. You can construct the most gorgeous dress, but if it's a terrible fabric, you can't even look at it.
Well, and he was like, "Oh, but she said turquoise, so I got turquoise." And it's like, did you just pick the first one you saw?
Probably.
I also wrote down that somebody's comment was it Tim's that about Patricia's dress being an oversized potato sack, or maybe that was Layana. That wouldn't be Tim.
Tim didn't say potato sack. Layana did though.
Yeah, and then my comment about Patricia is that Patricia's like the honey badger. She just doesn't give a shit.
Honey badger don't care.
Honey badger don't care. And that's exactly what I thought as soon as comments came up about her stuff and what she was going to do and the fitting and everything. Patricia would be the honey badger. She don't care.
I think we should start calling her honey badger.
You know what? Yeah, that's her call sign.
Okay.
We'll tweet her.
Awesome. I'm sure
Patricia
she's
Honey
gonna
Badger.
love that. Who else did you guys see stand out?
Yeah,
in the
actually, the last thing I wrote about the workroom was that everybody's struggling at fitting time. Everybody's designs were just looking crazy. Like, it was just craziness. Nobody had anything that was looking relatively finished or good, or mind-blowing. No, there was no minds to be blown. The other thing that happened at fitting was Holly Goose Stanley, which was absolutely amazing. That was the only great part about that.
Wait, you got to tell me about this. How did I miss this?
You missed that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Holly walks out. She had just put on the blue dress by Ben, and she's walking out of the changing room, and she walks by Stanley and like gives him the thumb up his butt.
Like, he was like bent over doing something else, not paying attention. She was like, I had to.
Yeah.
like
so funny. She's boop.
No, she did not.
Yeah.
What
oh my God. Yeah, and then she did it, and then she just kept walking by.
Oh my God, that's
so funny.
The best thing I've ever heard. I'm gonna go rewatch that episode. See you guys.
I wish Holly was on Twitter.
I know.
Maybe she is.
Maybe we should start a Twitter for Holly.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. Before we move on to the runway, I just want to thank everybody who listens and supports us on iTunes, on YouTube, leaves comments, rates us. We do this show because we're fans, so we appreciate any other fans that listen to us. We have over 60 shows on AfterBuzz, and really we enjoy it, so keep it going for us. Rate us, comment.
And we have tons more premiering this week, the next couple weeks. A lot of shows are coming back.
Yeah.
So
Share
if you
with
have
your
a favorite
friends.
show,
Share with
we
your
probably
friends.
have a
If
show.
you're an agent, call us.
There you go.
It's
Awesome. Let's get to the runway. Okay.
let's.
Heidi, always a topic of discussion. She comes out. I wasn't that impressed with that dress. I thought it was unflattering.
#fail.
I thought her makeup wasn't done. I was like, did she
Thank
not
you.
make it in there today? And they
Right.
just were like, oh, we'll wing it.
I said the same thing. It looked undone.
She wore a short dress with sparkles and then like a high-waisted belt that looked like a belt off of a backpack.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of when they closed up on her, and it was not. It gave her that word that's not flattering at all. That I don't know if it's okay to say or appropriate on AfterBuzz, but it gave her a lot of like midsection that didn't look right.
Yeah. She had a bulge.
What is that word?
The word? We'll just say it real quick. Fupa.
Those are Cougar's words, not mine. But
Yeah.
her midsection didn't look great. Rachel Roy was filling in for Zach Posen.
Oh my God! Can I tell you how hot Rachel Roy is? Let me just
I
get
can
loud in the
agree.
thing right. Oh my God!
Rachel Roy is beautiful.
So
She is.
beautiful.
I have a
and
girl
so
crush on her.
talented.
And
For
she
sure.
has an amazing line. I don't know where she came from, but all of a sudden, last few
She
years she just came up.
She first started as a stylist for Rockefeller. She worked
Rockefeller,
with-
y'all.
Yeah, she worked for Jay-Z and his line Rockefeller, and that's when she met Damon Dash. They got married. They have a child.
She's Dame Dash's. Oh my God.
Ex-wife. Their
Ex-wife.
daughter's name is Ava. Why I know this random information? I
Oh,
don't
because
know.
Yeah.
we know. why
And
you
then
know.
at the time, when she was with Damon, she started her line Rachel Roy.
Dang.
Well, she is fabulous.
Yeah, and now they sell Rachel by Rachel Roy at Macy's.
Oh man, I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And where do they sell the design like Rachel Roy, like actual Rachel? I don't know.
Just off, I've only seen it online.
Yeah, she's amazing, really talented and gorgeous.
Her teeth are so white.
They are. And the guest judges, Melissa and Joan Rivers.
Oh man.
How much do we love Joan?
I
Love
love
her.
her.
Fashion Police. Are you guys Fashion Police fans?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Did you watch the Oscars ones?
No.
She is just ruthless and just doesn't even care.
She just is full of one-liners, and I love her.
Yeah.
And I love her because she called somebody a bitch on the show tonight.
She
She
did.
That was
Yes.
great.
I loved
She
it.
did. That's right. And I don't know. Melissa to me, she's too tame next to her mother. It's
Yeah.
so funny, like them together, because she doesn't have that same presence. She'd like to, and she's not looking too good. I don't know if maybe maybe it was the lighting in the Project Runway studio there that wasn't so flattering for Heidi. But I was looking at Melissa Rivers like, wow.
No, I think
Yeah.
she got something done by the same guy that did Bruce Jenner's face.
Zing! Virginia with the one-liners.
Sorry.
Sometimes work is not your friend.
No.
It does the opposite.
She's not even that old.
No. It's an addiction.
It is.
All right. So the runway starts with Michelle's outfit. I thought it was adorable. It was a great little print. I love the color.
I don't even remember it.
It was the V-neck printed dress. It had a jeweled
yeah.
waist.
The lady
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
shimmying down
Yeah.
the
Oh,
aisle.
she was having a ball.
And it had a cute little skirt that was flared just on in the knee area. And I thought it was great because the client looked great. She seemed happy, and it was flattering. It fit well. Also, it was in good taste. Virginia.
Yeah, I agree. It was really cute. The lady looked happy.
Oh man, that lady was out of control. I was just like, make her stop.
Yeah, Cougar had a really hard time.
I was
watching it.
I was
He
laughing.
couldn't,
I'm like
every time she shimmied, he
I was
turned away.
like,
He's
stop,
like, no,
stop,
no, no.
stop. I'm like, great dress, stop.
I know what Cougar's phobia is now. Old people dancing.
Old people dancing, exactly, because I'm gonna be that old guy one day.
I know, but you're not going to be dancing.
Oh no, I'll be dancing, and I'm gonna be embarrassing people just like I was embarrassed for that old woman tonight. I will. My grandkids are gonna be like, stop, Grandpa.
I thought she looked fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, just because everything jiggled when she shimmied.
I think that was the problem. I was like, oh, you just don't want to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and she had all sorts of moves too. It wasn't just like a shimmy. It was like she was doing this, and
Don't hate. Anyways, Liana. I thought, wow, this is going to be really repetitive tonight. Unflattering. Great print, though.
Bad, terrible midsection. She had those lines. Great print.
That's what I
But she
wrote.
had those lines in the midsection that like drew you right to her belly.
And it's like, why would you layer them? That's what I wrote. A very strange bust line. Like
Very.
it was like
Yeah.
piping to accentuate the fullness there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of creating a smaller waist, I feel like it just made everything look bigger.
Right. Right.
But the idea there was there. Like it could
Yeah.
have been. It could have been okay. It wasn't
It was
terrible.
passable, we'll call it.
That's a good way.
This isn't All Stars after all.
Yes.
apparently.
Not that All Stars was.
Exactly.
Patricia. I wrote terrible, unflattering, and made the lady look huge. She used some type of raw silk. It was beige, and then it had the huge blue collar. I don't even know what you call that. A vest? Was it?
No, it was a shawl, but it was made in the last minute. What I said was that it wasn't bad for last minute, but it was so last minute. Like it looked last minute. Like she threw it together, and it was obviously, you know, she was gonna get a pretty low score for that, but it still didn't look absolutely like awful, considering she did it in like 10 minutes before they had to go to runway.
Yeah, I just wrote you.
Because you remember, that's actually the one part of the fitting we didn't talk about, was like when she was fitting her client with that chiffon poncho or whatever. I mean, it just looked awful. The client was like, what the hell is going on here? And she's, I don't know. I can't, do you remember the words she used to describe it herself?
No.
It was like a cut off poncho here and then long in the back. It looked awful. It was terrible.
bad.
So I'm way happier with what she put on the runway than what she had.
Stanley's client, he made a jumper, a strapless jumper out of raw silk, and it was this really beautiful color. The fabric looked really expensive with a nice fitted crop jacket on top. He was kind of lucky because his client, out of all the elderly people, had a really nice body.
Yeah, she was in
Yeah, she was
shape. She looked good.
Tall, good shape, thin, and it looked expensive. The lady looked good. I like the styling behind it. Only thing that bothered me that I noticed right away was the crotch.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a terrible crotch.
What was that?
Let's talk about crotches.
Let's talk about it.
What makes a good crotch?
Where
That-
it's not bubbly like that,
Or
like
sagging.
a seam, where you don't look
She had
like a
diaper
man
crotch?
in a woman's suit.
It was just sagging and it was just, I don't know, like you could fit stuff in there. She could put her purse in her crotch and carry it around.
Like that lady
Oh,
on
man.
Double Divas that puts her bra on her boobs.
What?
I told you guys about this last time.
She puts her stuff in her bra?
Her boobs are like as big as like around this, like each one, and she likes to hide stuff in there, and she literally put like a clutch in between her boobs, and she was like pulling stuff out.
No.
It was terrible.
Hey, I found $5.
Well, Stanley's model could do that too with her
Right.
crotch. Cougar, thoughts?
On the
Stanley's?
No, it was great. I mean, it was fine. It looked, you know, for the last minute midnight hour thing, she looked great. Happy. She was happy.
Virginia?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was the best thing we saw.
Yep.
Okay, that's nice.
True.
Richard, I thought it looked frumpy. It had a terrible fit. What's with the turquoise they're using? Turquoise and black.
Right.
Didn't even love the color. And
Why did they like it so much? That weird
Why?
band?
Yes. Okay.
What was that?
and
How did
it-
nobody
Again,
say that?
unflattering.
Let's talk about that band. It went only part of the way across her stomach. And it would have looked like something she could have worn to Saint-Tropez if it didn't have that weird thing there. It would have been like this flowy, like, you know, resort wear almost.
But it was just a jersey dress. Like,
Yeah.
you could get that at Target.
Yeah,
TJ Maxx.
I just don't know
Yeah.
how
Kmart.
nobody called that
Kmart.
out. How did nobody else? They were like,
No.
"Oh, it's so great." I
What
like,
was with that
"What?"
mint thing?
I don't get it.
No.
I don't get it. 2, I thought the dress was pretty. It was chic. It was a great color, but the bad sewing and construction, just it was hard to look past that.
The sketch was nice. If he would have made
Yeah.
what he sketched, I think it would have been really good.
It was basically just a large piece of fabric that he cut into a square and then put some, you know, filler in and then wrapped it around the woman's body,
And
held it
belted.
together with a belt, and then sewed some weird lines here and there, like gave it some oddly placed darts.
Yeah.
And it looked awful on her.
I know.
It
and
was
she
too
was
much
even sad about
fabric.
it.
Yeah.
She was like, Kate, can you come help with this?
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was sad. Kate, she made a cute little fitted black top with a knee-length A-line floral skirt that was white with, was it navy or black?
It was like
White-
navy.
Yeah,
with
like a
red.
reddish
navy red.
and a
So then
navy.
the top was navy. I loved it. The only thing I didn't love, I thought the top was kind of unflattering because it was such a high neck, and that makes your
Yeah.
dress look lower. So
No, I saw. Yeah, it was very like tight, kind of body armor-ish.
yeah, but great effort, and at least the construction wasn't terrible. Virginia.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute. I mean, I thought it was really age appropriate. And a lot of ladies that age, they don't want to show off their arms, or she could have even requested a higher neck, you know,
Yeah.
because of that like sagginess that you can get there.
Yeah.
So I thought, and the client seemed to really like it. So
Yeah.
She loved it. I wrote "ew" just because of the client.
Aww.
It's like, oh, okay, but great outfit. Ugh.
Aw. All right.
Because I was thinking about her being a slut, and so
She wasn't the slut. She was telling Kate to be a slut.
she was implying that she was slutty.
No.
She's like, I
she
ain't
probably-
dead yet.
Maybe. Hey, Sam.
Old leopard slutty is what I wrote.
I thought it was a good fit, but there was way too much going on. Neon green or lime green on top, raw silk, really big leopard print, huge bow. Great effort. Didn't love it.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought the chartreuse with the print would have been fine, maybe in a different fabric, but yeah, with the shininess of it all, and then the princessy sleeves, it just didn't make sense.
The only thing that bothered me about the outfit was the princess sleeves. I thought the rest of it was fine. I didn't think it was age appropriate, but I thought the rest of it was fine. And the princess sleeves just looked, I mean, they were big and
Yeah. Didn't
Maybe
fit
if it would
well.
have been
reason.
like a halter with it and something a little bit more modern.
right.
I don't know. Daniel, I wrote not the best construction. A simple black suit. I like the one collar that was up, but the fabric kind of looked cheap to me too.
Yeah. Terrible proportions, looked better up close. Like when we saw it in the workroom, I was like, oh, nice. But then when it was on the runway, it just,
Yeah. Virginia.
yeah.
That's really.
Amanda, terrible print fabric, really terrible unflattering flowy fabric that also like didn't flatter the body at all. And the back, she turned around and it was atrocious.
Disaster.
She had this random, I don't know, glob. It looked like it was glued together.
Who
in the
said
back
who
of the
said
skirt.
that? Somebody said that it looked like, oh, maybe it was Nina, that it looked like she had sat in glue.
Or it looked like her dress got stuck in her diaper.
Right.
Yes,
It
a
was
wedgie.
awful.
Wait, did you just come up with that? Or did they say that on the
No.
That was you?
Yes.
Man, with the one-liners tonight.
Sorry. I'm
No,
on
it's
fire.
good. You are on fire.
It's true though. That's the sad part. Terrible. What?
Disaster.
Who would want to wear? I don't care if you're young, old, anybody. Why would anybody want to wear something like that?
It just didn't make any sense to me because she realized from the beginning that she messed up on her fabric choice. So then why didn't she design something that would go with that type of fabric?
Like
I
a
know.
wrap dress, a really pretty wrap dress would have
Yeah.
been perfect.
Not
But
sharp
that
enough.
neckline and it was atrocious.
Ben, who had my favorite model, Holly, had an atrocious dress for her, in my opinion. He picked this, I don't know if you want to call it silk or satin, turquoise, bright turquoise fabric that was so tight. It had sleeves up to here because, she didn't want to show off her arms. Tight sleeves, tight on the bust, tight on the waist. Literally, she was
And she was packing a
busting
lot
at
up
the
top
seams.
too.
Yes, she is. And then tulle. He used tulle under the skirt to give
Yeah.
it volume. I mean,
I didn't hate his dress. I thought the fit was awful. It looked way too tight. But I feel like if you had thrown a white wig on her, she would have looked like the Queen of England. Just the collar.
so you like the Queen of England style?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying she didn't look terrible.
I think
She was happy.
Had it been a different fabric, it maybe wouldn't have looked so bad. But I think that's really what was so off about it, because with that type of fabric, you can see every imperfection.
Yeah.
Right.
And how they pointed out the hem was so awful. Because he was like, oh, well, the hem. And Nina was like, no, the hem sucks too. It's lopsided.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't even think it was that bad.
Yeah, he was pretty convinced of his own awesomeness, and it was just like confounded upon and I don't know, increased, I guess, because Holly wouldn't leave his side. Holly was there for her man.
Supportive.
He needs to go design for Holly and all of her
and
friends.
only her, yeah.
Yes, he does. That may be his only client after this show. So let's get to the winners and the losers. Actually, before we do, Heidi names off the people that are safe, and she mentions that Kate, Michelle, and Liana are safe.
They're the first to go.
Yes. Or Kate, Michelle, and not Kate and Michelle. Michelle, Liana, and Patricia are safe. And she makes sure to mention that Patricia was the reason that Michelle and Liana weren't on the top.
They would have been on the top if it weren't for her.
Yes.
But it's their own damn fault, because Michelle even said, well, I'm not really going to worry about her, because if we're on the bottom, well, then maybe she'll go home or whatever. It's like, if you would stop having that attitude.
Yeah. They're like, just let her do what she's doing because she's always in the top. But what did we see when they got into the little room? They bagged on her. They turned on her. They were like, yeah, this really sucks because of you.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, wow, you guys didn't lift a finger to help her out or, be...
Or even give her some constructive criticism.
Not that she would have taken it, because she's a honey badger.
Yeah, honey
but
badgers
still,
don't care.
Yeah, they didn't care about her at all. They were ready to feed her to the wolves, and that's the reason they lost.
I know, but that's what you get. And Heidi says, this is a team challenge. Make sure you take care of your team, because if you don't take care of your team, you can't win. All right, but speaking of winners, let's get to the winner. Stanley wins. Finally, his first win.
Won, yeah.
He had the jumpsuit and the jacket. I thought out of everybody, he had the best, so I wasn't mad.
I wasn't mad about that either, because it was the best. Everybody else's really sucked.
Yep.
This was a terrible, terrible challenge.
I thought it was really funny when Joan told Richard's model, because she was saying she loved it, she loved the color, and it's really sexy, and she said, you've got great legs, show them, bitch.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god, she just called, and that lady was like, yeah, like they were so excited for Joan Rivers to be talking trash.
I love Joan. She's hilarious. She said something else too that was really funny when she was basically critiquing one of the designers, but I forget.
Well, she told Daniel, she's like, you look like, or she told Daniel's model with the pantsuit, she was like, you look like the second wife, I'd like you to look like the first wife, or I'd like you to look like a gilf. I was like, oh my gosh, she went there.
Yep.
Oh my god. You missed the shimmying. Look, there you go.
Oh,
there
God,
you go. Get
Alina.
It. Cougar. Oh my god. You know who is enjoying it? Joan Rivers.
Yeah, I know. There's something weird about how much she's enjoying that.
The loser tonight. This comes as a bit of a shocker.
Well,
Mr. Confident himself.
There was a lot of suspense of, like the build up to who was going to go home. The four that were on the outs were what? It was Ben and Amanda, and 2 and Kate.
And Kate, but they already said we liked your outfit, Kate. So you knew that she wasn't going home.
Right.
And then with 2, Joan said, you haven't got an effing clue in hell what you're doing. But they were still kind of nice to him about it.
Right.
But I mean, I knew it was going to be Ben or Amanda, because they were just terrible.
And then, they showed in the commercial preview Amanda just losing it and starting to cry. And so I was fully expecting, I don't know if you guys were, I thought Amanda was getting the boot.
Well, I did too, because the fabric and the construction was so terrible. But I do have to mention before we get to the loser that Joan Rivers is the only person who critiques someone and they start cracking up. 2 was dying of laughter when she told him,
right.
You don't know what the F.
Right.
Yeah.
I love her.
Any other day, they would have been crying.
All right, let's get back to the loser, though. So we're expecting Amanda to go home, but it's Benjamin.
It's Ben. And Amanda starts choking up, she's having this is the worst thing ever. She gets excused, goes back to the room, and she's crying, and she's it's apparent she's crying of happiness that I'm staying versus I'm so sorry Ben's going.
I think it was a mixture, though.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think there was some guilt, shit, he had the better design tonight.
Oh, way better. I mean, if you were to put the 2 against each other, there's no comparison. She just did so awful. I was really surprised.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't think he deserved to be there.
Yeah.
Even though we all expected him to do so well.
Yeah,
At
that
least
first episode. Yeah, no, I think
Big talker.
Did we talk about this last week? How we all expected him to be.
I think we've talked about it
every
week.
episode. Yeah.
So bye, Benjamin.
Bye.
Sucks, but he did earn Holly's trust and love.
Oh, and maybe he'll have a benefactor.
And hopefully, let's try to get Holly.
Can we get Holly? Marissa, could we get Holly? Could we see about that?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Get it done. Do we want to talk about merch? Marissa, do you want to tell everybody about our AFTERBUZZ TV merchandise?
Oh yeah, we just launched this new thing on AfterBuzz TV. It's the AfterBuzz TV store. If you go to the website AfterBuzzTV.com and click on the banner at the top, it'll take you directly to the store. You can buy mugs, shirts, tote bags,
Onesies.
baby onesies.
Baby onesies.
Yeah, get your AfterBuzz swag.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Do we have any predictions?
What's gonna happen next week? What's the theme for next week?
Duct tape.
Duct tape. That's
Oh.
right. Prom dresses out of duct tape. I predict that somebody is going to lose their mind and have a nervous breakdown. Maybe even 2 people. Patricia, I can see doing terribly at this.
I think she'll do well because she always does these crazy
Patterns and
things.
stuff?
Yeah.
I think Amanda is going to be like, oh, I've never made anything out of duct tape. So
I don't like
What's duct
teenagers.
tape?
I don't like prom.
My brother's on Maroon 5.
Wah.
Wow.
Teenagers scare me.
Oh, I
Anyways,
hate kids. Damn kids.
my prediction is that Patricia may do well, but also Michelle.
You think she's gonna come
I
back?
think
Oh, yeah, I
she's
think she'll do
slowly
well, too.
but surely proving that she's one of the best designers.
What?
I don't know
I
about
was impressed.
best designer. That's a stretch.
I mean, on the show, she doesn't have
I
much
don't know.
competition.
You know, actually, I could also see Daniel not doing too well at this, just because he's always on his own thing. You know, he's on his. There's a lot of things I could say right now, but he really has a lot of self-confidence, and duct tape might throw him for a loop.
Yeah.
What about Stanley
Virginia?
and Richard?
I don't know. There's something else going on because they're just
I
way
think they-
too giddy
yeah, they
together.
have a
They're
lo-
like,
yeah.
ooh.
I think love's
I think
in the
there's
air.
a romance, probably, that have bloomed there.
Virginia, that's your prediction then.
Yep.
We're taking it.
Project Runway Wedding.
Mm.
Ooh.
Maybe there'll be an announcement. Somebody's, having a baby at the end of the show or
And maybe we'll get invited.
something.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And let's try to keep the convo going. Follow me on
We
Twitter.
didn't say who the winner was.
We did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, Stanley.
Oh, duh. Well, I don't know. I just had a brain fart.
It's okay. You could tweet about it. Follow
My
me on
bad.
Twitter at _Alina ALINA 23.
And you can follow me at Virginia Reyna.
And at Cougar Tweets.
Thanks, everyone.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.